time with ADHD. I've been crying through it. I've been literally trying to force myself into just basic productivity, even though it feels like I'm literally suffocating. Because you're gonna work for me. You're gonna give me everything that I dream of. You're gonna give me everything that I wish for. I wanted to talk about was self-acceptance. You're not messed up. You're not a failure. You're not a piece of thing that is different from everybody else. Hey baddies, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Okay, hey baddies, welcome back to my YouTube channel. And today we're doing something absolutely different because I just felt it in my soul that I just really want to start a series like this. So I've got my candle up, I've got the equipment of the things that I want us to discuss. And today the topic is, or the new series that I decided to open up is just something that's personal that I've been dealing with and something that I have been trying to get through. But I decided, you know what, let me just document this journey. So first things first, this is the ADHD Diaries. So the reason I created this series is because honestly, I haven't been able to find anyone at home that can put us through the journey of ADHD. So that's why I'm here, and I'm here to help you figure it out and not feel like you're alone. So stay tuned, and please don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on your notification bells because it's about to be fire. Real fire. All right, so first things first, the reason why I wanted to specifically start this series is because what I've been dealing with is I've been really going through a hard time with ADHD. I've been crying through it. I've been literally trying to force myself into just basic productivity, even though it feels like I'm literally suffocating. There are things that I've been feeling that if I just go to the normal regular person, and it's not even the normal regular person, which is what I actually find funny, it's your everyday person who's actually also dealing with some sort of something on the spectrum. So I got tired, honestly, of hearing things such as, oh, I've got ADHD too, you know, so you should just be fine with it. Or did you self-diagnose yourself with ADHD? Like, where do you think I would have gotten this information from if I never had parents who took me through some sort of a pediatrician to check me out, if I didn't have teachers who cared enough to raise that flag up to the parents to check me out? That's also a crazy thing. And then the most common one that we get specifically here in South Africa as Black people is, you're just being lazy, or you're just being disrespectful, or you just don't want to be focused, or you just don't want to do the right thing that you're supposed to do. And you're just sitting there struggling, battling out of your mind, trying to understand, why would I do this to myself? Especially as a 27-year-old girl who lives alone, makes her own money. Obviously, I work for a company, and who is trying her best to do her hobbies and incorporate her true self into this life that we're living. Why would I be opposing of myself in terms of my growth, in terms of me moving forward with my beautiful, beautiful life? Like, it is the most triggering things. And then last but not least, as a Christian girl, it is so difficult to hear other Christian people say, well, don't assume that identity. Well, don't say that you've got it. And I'm just like, oh gosh, like I cannot deal with this because I'm so over everybody's opinion. I don't even want to call it what it is, but I'm just so over everybody's opinion. And what hurts the most with how everyone receives you is they're struggling too. They're dealing with things too, but because they're avoidant in their own things that they're dealing with, they want to literally impose that on you. I tell people all the time that this was my journey with ADHD. So I was in school. I had hyper attentive kind of energy ever since I was in grade school. Like from grade one, my grade one teacher noted it to my dad. I went to Atherton Park Primary School, which is in Amanzimtoti, and I will say something about that school. They really do care about their students. They really do care about their kids. Like the fact that that teacher reached out to my dad and said, look, as much as there may be things that are going on at home, because there were things that were going on at home, but I feel like your child's focus and everything that she does is not really her fault, but she's in something, right? I guess for a while, my dad just assumed that I was just being like a disrespectful kid who didn't want to sit her booty down in class. But then eventually things started taking a turn. I guess he started seeing that behavior at home and more teachers started saying something about it. So years went on. I literally felt like the dumbest student in school. I couldn't, like, it was the worst thing ever because I actually thought I was stupid. I would literally get 0 out of 50, and I'm not even capping. Okay, maybe it wasn't 0. Maybe it was 2 out of 50 in a maths test. And I wouldn't understand why I just don't get what is going on. I didn't even have a sense of reality of what are we here to do. All my friends, like, knew exactly what was going on. You would see it in the way that they do their homework. They would literally be able to parent themselves. There was a level of maturity that I started seeing the moment I got to like grade 5, grade 6. But I was already on some sort of Ritalin by then, but I guess the Ritalin was a bit soft, and then I went off eds, and then I went back to my pediatrician with my dad, and that pediatrician put me on Concerta. So I used Concerta from like I think it was grade 7 to grade 8. It was amazing. I became super smart, things changed, but the shock of my life came when I started calling my dad and saying, get me my 18 milligram because you didn't get me my 36 milligrams. And I was an addict. Actually, now that I'm looking back on that time, I actually had very high codependency tendencies with that pharmaceutical product. So what does that mean? That means I actually was an addict and I didn't even know what was going on. I literally used to have a tick on Concerta. Like every time I would be doing something, I'd always feel the need to turn back and see, is someone looking at me? Like I literally have a tick of some sort. I didn't even understand what it was. I think I should actually research it, but I would have that tick. I wouldn't eat, I wouldn't drink, I wouldn't use the bathroom. I would literally work Beyonce style. Like I would work from the beginning of the day till the end of the day until someone is like, okay, you have to eat. So grade 8, I went to a boarding school, so we had a structure of eating. So I guess that kind of helped out. But the moment I got to like grade 9, where I moved from a boarding school and I went to a day school, I started actually seeing that I don't eat anymore. I don't do the normal things that a girl's supposed to be doing. So then I started actually fading out of the Concerta because it was amazing. I was already doing well in school, the focus, and actually a level of maturity kicked in the moment I got into Concerta. It actually felt like my eyes opened up and just things started to feel more better and comfortable for me, and I started thriving in school. So I do not hate those pharmaceuticals, but they are very highly potent and addictive, and it's just not something that is good for someone who's already has like a fun personality like myself and all these things that I wanted to be and wanted to shine in. I ended up just being a diligent student, which is okay in other like parts of the world where, you know, your identity is not really needed in the equation, but for me it really was making me not feel good. So I'm actually here to finally just be the voice that validates the person sitting on the screen. If you're a girl who's sitting there thinking to herself, I can't get this work done even though I've got so much potential. If you're a girl who's sitting there, not even just a girl, baddie and boy baddie. If you're people who want to get their life together, let's have a chat, you know? So if you're someone who's always procrastinating, even though you know exactly what to do, if you're always in the loop of trying to plan things forever and ever, but not getting things actually done, you might actually be dealing with something that is a bit beyond you, and trying to force yourself into boxes and cages that other people have normalized in their lives is not the right thing to do. So here in this community, we don't do that kind of stuff. I have chosen to turn ADHD into not my identity, but into my superpower. ADHD is amazing for people who specifically want to get things done, for people who can, who would love to multitask. Like, it makes me do things that I don't even understand sometimes, but it actually feels like a superpower. It feels like I'm in like The Incredibles, or I don't know, but like it's like I pop a pill, or like I'm Ben 10 and I pop an alien, and then it becomes whatever I can be. So I've decided to alchemize my ADHD. So again, Christian people will say it's not your ADHD, those are demons and all this stuff. And then it's like, okay, I understand, and I pray about it. I pray about it a lot. But when do I stop demonizing myself, and when do I start saying, okay, I guess I'm just a bit different and I can still work, I can still get things done, I can still be who I am, and I can still thrive in this earth as who I am? Because I've been battling with this for 27 years, so I don't know what kind of demon would still be on me like that. But anyways, I'm looking at that demon then, and I'm saying, you know, because you're gonna work for me. You're gonna give me everything that I dream of. You're gonna give me everything that I wish for. You're gonna give me everything that I desire. You're not gonna hold me back anymore. So the reason why I got here is specifically because I just went through the biggest change of life. So what I've been noticing specifically with my life is I've been so hyper in control, because the moment I left the ADHD pills, the more I felt like I needed to manage my life. And the family I come from, I guess they are very high performative, and it kind of, works against you sometimes, and it kind of works for you sometimes. So I appreciate my family. I'm not here to trash them in any sense. Love you guys so much. I love everything that you guys taught me about diligence and getting things done. So I completely have stolen that adaptation and work style from my family. But then there was this other thing that was sitting on me. I felt suffocated when I needed to get certain things done. I felt so much like a black sheep, like an outcast, because I couldn't do it like everybody else. When my sister would sit and just read a book in peace, I'm out here sitting like this. I'm out here trying to do it like that. I'm just not sitting in the right position. So I decided to get myself into specifically I asked around with some doctors, specifically with their opinions, because I've got some friends that are doctors and I've got some family members that are doctors, and I asked them what kind of pills can help me get through this. And I've tried all sorts of pills, you guys. I've tried essentials, which is the vitamin with zinc. I've tried omega-3 concentrate. I've tried vitamin B12. I've tried magnesium for the nighttime. This stuff is actually really good. And I'm recently trying ashwagandha. So with all these pills in front of me, if I have to give my honest opinion, these three, I'm not there yet. This, I have to be honest, was self-diagnosed. These three were self-diagnosed. This, I thought it would give me energy, but I got ADHD. I've always got energy. This helps, okay, I guess with your body and actually your skin and everything else. I'm sure I forgot the other benefits of it, but it does also help with like a bit of focus. But I didn't enjoy it because it also needed me to always be eating. As someone with ADHD, you also get a lot of food disorders. So I'm not always wanting to eat. I think that's why I'm always so skinny, but I hate eating. I have to literally romanticize the experience of eating because I just hate eating. Like, the food actually stays here. My dad used to feed me with a belt. I know this sounds very crazy right now, but he was like, my daughter cannot go to school every single day and not eat. Like, what if she starves by 10 a.m. in her third class? What if he would go above and beyond in making me my lunches, but he would like always shout at me to eat. He'd make sure I have some wheat bix, porridge, or pre-neutral, because he's like, my poor little child that is so skinny and small needs to flippin' eat. So he did his best, but it's just something that I have, and I don't know. I've done my best to also romanticize food with meal preps, making my own bagels. It's just still, I don't know what's going on with that. So with this whole thing, what worked for me, these pills are amazing if they work for your version of ADHD, because remember, everything is on a spectrum of color. So we may not be in the same space. So I would say the only thing that has worked the best for me is my omega-3 specifically with remembering things and stuff like that, especially as someone again with ADHD. You're so hyper into everything, you kind of need to be also sharp. And I work as a manager, so I love using my ability to multitask, because I get to be that girl who gets things done. But now if you're that girl who gets things done but is always making mistakes, then it becomes a problem. So my omega-3 is amazing, amazing, amazing. So I don't have a problem with energy, so I put down the vitamin B12, and I would actually go into magnesium. I have a problem with my body resting, so magnesium always gives me a sense of calm. I also tried L-theanine, but it's not close to me, so I can't always be moving up and down. But it wasn't as strong. It worked a little bit. Maybe I needed to try more than 3 bottles, but no, I'm trying to keep my medication at a minimum. Okay, so magnesium and ashwagandha. I don't know what these two things do, but it just feels like if this is the spectrum, my ADHD is like riding over here. And this just gives me a sense of calmness. You ever heard people say coffee makes me calm, caffeine makes me calm, Red Bull makes me calm, Monster makes me calm? Unfortunately, I cannot be consuming those things because it literally makes my heart race, but it makes me calm. It is the most weird sensation. You're calm, but your heart is just like racing. So that is hyper annoying. And that is an indication that you should stop, by the way. So stop consuming things that make you feel weird. You can also feel your body sometimes. My PE teacher used to always say, you listen to your body. If it says it is tired, don't force it, don't push it, you know. Then I always pair things off with a good tea. So because I am currently sober, and not because I'm like an addict or anything, but I just want to live the adult life as with the kid brain, like with that free brain that I had as a child. But I don't want to consume those things anymore, and it's nothing to do with anything but the fact that I just don't anymore. So I've been trying my teas. So jasmine tea, this is hibiscus tea. You can also try your chamomile tea. Those components are super amazing for someone whose ADHD is hyper. Okay, so yeah, whose ADHD is hyper. So these vitamins worked very well for me. They say ashwagandha makes you very much like out of touch and makes you a bit of cold. But again, on the spectrum, if you're up here, it just brings you to a mid, a calmness, just a normality. So what also helps me with ashwagandha is that ADHD people have rejection sensitivity disorder. So I feel certain things at a higher scale, and I am sick and tired of now living a life as an adult where my ADHD is the issue in certain places. My ADHD is supposed to be my superpower, not my downfall. So I refuse those certain parts of ADHD to get through and overcome who I am. I'm a very nice person, but the moment I sense rejection sensitivity, I get into the anxious attachment mode, which is the over explain yourself, people please, explain this, explain that, hold on tighter. And as a Christian girl, it's very hard to surrender to God if that's the state you're operating in. So with this, it just calms me down. It makes me feel like not everything is that deep. Because if we're being honest, not everything is that deep. If we pray about the things that bother us, God really does fix those things. And you need to be intentional though with your part of the equation, meaning don't take offense. And some of us, the journey is a bit harder to not do that because of the rejection sensitivity. So these pills really help us. And then the magnesium, because the magnesium helps you rest and calm. You're not always overly stimulated. So I sometimes even take magnesium in the middle of the day. And other people would say, but magnesium makes you sleepy. Well, specifically magnesium glycinate, it makes you sleepy. But I'm like, for me, it lowers the hypersensitivity. It lowers the overstimulation. It just lowers everything into a neutral state. So it's like a pH, you know? So yeah, that's the medication that I've been on and the ones that I'm choosing to keep. So the other ones I'll just fade out. I'll give to my mom because my mom also takes some vitamins. Specifically, she takes iron and magnesium for herself, but that's also stuff that she was told by her doctors. So guys, also don't self-diagnose things. go to your doctor if you're really concerned. And it's not even a matter of if you're really concerned. I know that we don't all live in a space where we can afford things through medical aid and stuff like that. Go to your local pharmacist at Clicks. These people, they really do help out. So let them know what you're dealing with and just tell them, just care for your own health. You know, it's not every single space that you can always go see a high-end pediatrician or high-end GP, or a neurologist or whatever, but you can actually go to your pharmacist and just ask a question. The same way you girlies know how to ask about contraceptives is the same way as you must go ask about your mental state. Okay, yes, thank you. I don't even want to talk about that one. So now I'm going to give you tips just for getting to base, grounding. Like, grounding is so important because you have to let go of all those voices. You have to let go of all those things that are making you overstimulated. And I'm so over people saying you just need to ground yourself. Be in the space. Be in the peace. What does that even mean? Right? So if you're overly stimulated, go for a walk. That's what that means. It means that your body wants to release. So if you're looking for a direct answer, overstimulation, go for a walk. If you feel overstimulated, do breath work. So that's breathing in 3 times, holding it, releasing 3 times. Do practical things. Don't just be sitting there reading people say, oh, learn to let go, learn to let go and let God. Oh my God. I am a Christian girl. I let go and I let God. But there are certain things that, like, even in the present, it is very difficult to do those things. So give me something practical. So again, being ADHD, it means you want to release certain things. And then there's this beautiful thing that we all as human beings are. Because we are created by someone who creates such beautiful things, we are made in his image. So we are what? Creators ourselves. So this culture of doom scrolling, this culture of always trying to be stimulated by going to the club, going to be with friends, doing this, doing that, being hyper performative is also another thing that makes you extremely overly stimulated. So in the grounding world, you need to create, draw something, get a coloring book, create something, go bake. Not everyone has the same thing that they need to do, but you need to do something that takes from self and pours out to this beautiful earth, pours out to this beautiful space around you. So if you're the type of girl who likes to crayon, get yourself a coloring box and crayon. You can go to Pick and Pay and get a coloring box for like 12 Rand, and you can get a coloring book for like 24 Rand. And that is what I call an investment into yourself, because you can be high performing in offices, you can be high performing in the corporate space, you can be high performing with other people, whether it's your partner, whether it's your parents and everything else. But when it comes to you do nothing. No, at least do the most that you can, which is something as simple as a coloring book, something as simple as learning how to knit, something, my grandmother used to have so many hobbies, specifically with uhlalo, which is beads in English, and that's what she used to do, and it would really inspire me because it was so creative and it was so beautiful. And looking at your work, it's like, wow, look at me. And not from a selfish perspective, but it's just a sense of like, in this big world, you matter to some molecular form. You do matter, and it is soothing. So your tea, your grounding, and pour to self. Okay. So that's the world of grounding. So just to add it down in the world of grounding, the reason why I'm not adding people and like seeking comfort elsewhere is because what are we trying to do right now? We're trying to ground, step back to inward, know who we are again, and be able to express that and be liberated within self, knowing who we are again in terms of grounding, which is Bible reading. So if you read your Bible, if you read your Quran, whatever it is, because I don't discriminate, I believe that all religions actually make the body of Christ. So that's a topic for another day. I'm not here to dispute that with y'all, but there's nothing that is outside here. Every form of religion is a version of Christ that everyone has experienced on this God's beautiful earth. So I chose Christianity for my own religious reasons, and if you guys want to talk about that, we can always get into that, but I'm not here for that right now. But yeah, you need to learn who you are, and what God does for me and the Bible does for me is that God literally reiterates, who am I? My identity in Christ. So books like Ephesians, Proverbs. Sorry. See, the ADHD is coming out now because I'm like, I see the image in my head, but like I want to speak it out to you guys, and as if, no, the words have to come slowly. So I'm just going to take a moment. Whew. Okay, now, candles are also amazing, but make sure you get candles that are not heavily toxic, because that stuff gets into your lungs, and that's not what you're trying to have at the age of 60, funky lungs, okay? So, yeah, I spoke about grounding. Let me look for something else. Cut off the voices that keep saying that you're nursing this. You're not nursing anything. You just rocked up on this earth, and you're also doing the best that you can. I think when people think that you are nurturing certain things, it's because they have decided to have a particular perspective on that particular thing, of which that is not your identity. You don't need to be told by that. The way that God created you, he knows. No one told God that this girl, her hyper attentiveness or her creativity or who she is a bad thing. No, who discussed that with God? No one. So ask God to help you through these things. So that's why the whole identity thing gets to help with regards to noises. Because I've even had a pastor come through and say, no, you are just, and I'm just like, okay, I'm battling with this. It's not that I'm saying that I am grooming this. I'm telling you what is going on. But because they just want to so much, I don't know what it is, when like specifically religious people want to tell you about yourself instead of listening and giving you scripture and helping you through it. I don't know what that is, but I don't associate with that kind of language. I just say, I hear you. Well, thank you. Yeah, keep me in your prayers. What are you going to say? You don't want to be rude. Maybe they are also helping you to the best of their ability. So there's always that. So again, with rejection sensitivity, you kind of not want to take everything personal. And God does say you can't take offense in everything. Some things are just spaces and pockets of redirection, whether it's rejection and all those other things, So yeah. So the next thing that I wanted to talk about was self-acceptance. You're not messed up. You're not a failure. You're not a piece of thing that is different from everybody else. You're not someone to be put at the back of the class. You're not someone who's a black sheep just because everyone else in the family is just a certain way. You're not different. You're not horrible. You're just you. You're just you. And you are doing the best that you can. And you also don't know what's going on. No one ever came through and said, these are the right things of life and these are the wrong things of life. The most that you can do is just be gentle and kind to those around you and yourself. But that only starts with you doing it to yourself. Like, it only starts with that. Like, you cannot be kind to others if you're not kind to yourself. You have to be your own friend. So I've lost a lot of friends. I've lost a partner. It's March, you can imagine. I've lost a very close family member because of, not because they died, but relationships just end. And when you're someone with ADHD, you feel like you always want to fix everything. You feel like you're the problem. You feel like, had you been this way, maybe they wouldn't have run away. Had you been this way, maybe they would have poured into your cup the same way you pour into other people's cups. You literally trap yourself into thinking so many things. And then there's just this one question that, like, with ADHD, you find that you actually do all of that. And what does it mean? My whole life I've been high performances. My whole life I've been trying to please other people. I create one boundary and people walk away from my life. I say to a person, I don't like how you treated me that way, because we've discussed this, we've communicated with this, and people be like, well, I guess your needs are too much. And yet I give my heart. If someone is like, I want to start this, I'm that girl who says, okay, let's chat GPT it. Let's figure this out. What do you need with this? Do you need me for that? I'm that kind of a person, because my grandmother and the people from my family are also that kind of people. So now when you meet certain kind of people, like avoidant people, girl, you will work your mind out trying to please these people. You'll work your mind out trying to fit into spaces that are actually not the razzle dazzle that you deserve. Some people are who they are, and you are who you are. I am bedazzled. I am glitter in a box. I am These are my snacks, for example. This is who I am. Hello, Panda. Yes, Diddle Daddles, Boudoirs. That is my vibe. I am flavor. I am zest. I am literally a color box. Okay? And for a long time, I've been trying to fit myself into, I wouldn't use the word mediocrity. I wouldn't use the word bland, but I've been trying to fit myself in boxes that I know for a fact now, because I don't feel afraid to say it anymore, that are too small for me. They're not my fit. And I've let those things destroy my identity, destroy my creativity, destroy my outlook of life, destroy my trust, my faith. And yeah, I can sit here and say I have costed my pearls to pigs. And today is the day I regain that power, and I regain it with you guys. Okay, we're regaining our power today. Next thing after self-acceptance is that, you know what, you guys, seeking source again really solidifies identity. So that when these kinds of people, and it's not, I don't want to say these kinds of people, I'm just saying when people who are not aligned with you, whether it's on a spiritual space, whether it's on a physical space, whatever capacity, when people do not align with you, when you've got a strong identity, especially rooted in Christ, it really helps so many things. You know when to not people please. You know when to overextend. You know when to not be an anxious, attached person and step back into your secure self. It's been really tough for me watching relationships do things that I don't understand, but now finally being the girl that says, okay. Having people walk away and then all you have to say is, okay. Having people say, oh, you've got a boundary, give me grace all the time. And you do give grace all the time, but they just don't see that because you give grace all the time. And they're the ones, the moment you just say, ouch, I don't like it when you touch me like that, then it's like, well, your boundaries are too much. Those are the things that when you have a self-identity, they don't get to phase you. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm still deeply hurt by a lot of things. Showing up today was very hard because I like to do my content specifically with truth. I don't want to give too much of story times. I don't want to give too much of my opinion on a specific thing because another person can have a different opinion. And the crazy thing with ADHD and anxious attached people is that I will actually understand your side of the story. And I think that's why so many times people think my grace is just guaranteed. It's free. I've got people who just drop me messages and expect me to know exactly what they want because of how much I am so hyper aware of other people around me. It's so difficult to watch someone in pain and you know exactly what you can do to help, but you have to step back because it's either they're going to say you're too much, it's either they're going to say you, like, I've been told I'm too much so many times, and that time I'm there saying, but you're a star, you're amazing, you've got all these wonderful things. I'm a hype girl because when I was in primary school, I was bullied a lot because of many things, and I didn't even have a sense of self. Remember, I was checked out in some capacity. Family things were happening, so, and I was super small. Like, I'm short and very tiny, so I guess things would just happen. And it's very difficult when you sometimes come from like a black family. There's certain things that they don't understand because they have certain backbones and thick skins. But there were certain things that just happened to me that, yeah, they make me emotional now, but like I have to do this for my inner child. Like, I have to stand up I have to be everything that I wanted people to be for me to me. It's no one's fault anymore. I can't wait for anyone anymore. God has created me and he is asking me to seek for him. There is nothing else that I can put blame on right now. So I've always wanted to do this journey, but I always felt like I was in an anxious space. But now I feel like I'm really forcing myself to be in a surrender space. I'm really forcing myself to be in a place where there is no opinion about other people, but there is a huge opinion on myself and what am I doing with my life, what am I doing with my heart, what am I doing with my inner child, what am I doing with my soul and my mind. And that's just the space that I'm in, and I'm so grateful that this idea literally popped in today, and I want to continue this journey. I'm just going to be posting. I'm not going to be thinking too much on it. I thank God that I already have a lot of experience in YouTube and editing, because I went to AFDA and I am a creative being. But I just said I want to show up as me. I want to show up with my heart on my sleeves, and I want to be helpful to other people who are going through times like this, times where everything just seems so dark, and even yourself and who you are feels like it's not the right compass. Like when everyone has left you and you're just sitting there with yourself and you're like, what's next? It is so scary. It is the most frightening thing, because no one talks about these things. No one expresses themselves about these things. But guess what? This ADHD girl is now going to do that. She's going to be the one that does everything that she wished she had in this world for you guys. So I hope that you guys like this video. I hope that you guys can relate, but I hope that you guys can set yourself free from these anchors, from these burdens of everything else that doesn't really exist. You know, I really pray for that for you guys. But yeah, I hope that this really helped someone in this journey, and I hope that we get to talk again next week. But I'd like to leave, I said I wanted to leave not a word of the day, but an end of video thing that helps, you know, girlies or boys like me. I watched Legally Blonde. I think you guys should too. I think it should be a ritual every single year that you watch Legally Blonde, because it talks about so many things that I just spoke about now. And you can imagine that girl is legally blonde. Like, she's so blonde that her video for Harvard was in a bikini. That's how much she just is who she is. But regardless of all those things, she still went ahead in self. She used to rock up to the courtroom in all pink, alone. No one understood it. No one knew what it was about. She helped a person get out of jail because she knew something or two about a perm and manis and patties. Can you imagine that kind of a space? So that contrast. Movies have always been a medium for me of expression. Specifically, anything in the creative space has always been my medium of expression. Find your medium of expression and unlock it. Figure out who you are. You are great. You're like the universe inside. When God said he created the heavens and the earth and made you literally in his image. So what do you think resides in you? The heavens and the earth. Everything resides in you. So find that. Don't let other people's voices tell you that you're different, you're off, that to a point where you don't even try and find out your own identity, to a point where you are even avoidant to your own self. Don't let that happen anymore. You know what? If they talk, they can talk. And you might learn a thing or two about certain things. I learned from anxious people. Instead of judging them, I was like, oh my gosh, this is what happens when you run away from things that you're supposed to be attending. You're always late. Your deadlines are always missed, and then you're also in the anxious space again. You're also feeling anxiety again. So the best thing you can do is try your best to get to the center. Again, everything is a spectrum. We've got our avoidance over here. We've got our anxious attachments over here. We've got our autism spectrum over here. We've got our ADHD spectrum over here. Sometimes things flow in between. The most we can do is get to a sense of a peaceful pH. And that's why I actually like people who are Buddhists, because of the things that they talk about. They literally talk about grounding. They don't talk about excitement. They don't talk about high vibrational, low vibrational things. They literally talk about the stillness of trusting God, the stillness of, you know, just the stillness. And I think a lot of people with anxious attachment like myself and ADHD, I'm healing those things, by the way. So a lot of people like that, they just really get to feel insecure and just feel like outcasts, and I never want anyone to feel that way. And I want to really just do this for you guys. I don't know who will reach this video, I don't know who will get this video, but lots of love from Nosi, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye. Let me go eat and finish my tea. So the movie that I'm going to be watching tonight is, I don't know. I'm going to think about it. Maybe Legally Blonde 2. Yesterday, I watched She's Just Not That Into You. Again, it wasn't about boys, but it was just about the concept of people. Also read Robert Greene's books, but don't be a psychopath. Okay, bye. Like, look at me. Look at my beautiful life. Like, I'm a star. Look at all these lights facing me. Oh my God, stop, stop, stop. Paparazzi, paparazzi. Stop, stop, honey, stop. Just stop it. Oh, rats. Okay, let's focus. Let's focus. I'm supposed to be eating now. See, these are the weird things. See, I wanted to really film this part because these are the weird things. So now I'm done with the task, right? And now I have to wind down. At work, I did all my best and I did all my work tasks. During the work day, I also did a few of some admin stuff. Now it is rewind time. It is 8 o'clock right now. Now it's me time. It's inward time. It's either I'm journaling, either I'm reading my Bible. I think that's what I want to do, actually. I want to read a chapter of Ephesians. Yeah, okay, now I know what to do. So before I make my next step, I kind of want to create the first 3 things that I need to do. So first things first, pack up my equipment. Second thing would be get comfortable. Third thing, eat. And then the rest will flow. Okay, bye.